What's up, everybody? Coach David here.
What's up? I'm not sure. I don't know where I was for a second. We're going live on like five different platforms.
A lot of different cameras. You know, there's this one app that you can actually like rotate, like it'll change so that it's looking at us, but then it'll like automatically switch gears between. I'm gonna look at this one. So, well, okay. I can scan, I suppose.
All right.
I can scan. You know, how you doing today, Professor?
Doing awesome, amazing,
great. So, we got questions.
All right.
And you're excited about the first one.
Yeah, I really am.
Okay. I need to know. So the first question is, what are your thoughts on medical marijuana? And then a follow-up is alcohol. So which one are you excited about?
The topic of marijuana.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that one.
Okay. Well, then you're clearly more excited than I am. So why don't you start?
All right. So, I mean, I think marijuana is commonly associated with like jiu-jitsu. At least today, it's way more commonly associated with jiu-jitsu about smoking before you go to class. Would you agree?
I think it's common. I think if you smoke marijuana, you smoke marijuana every day, all day. Like I don't like the people. It's not. I feel like gone are the days of people who are like, yeah, I smoke marijuana once on Friday night every week. No, like they just stay high.
Yeah.
Like they just, especially now in Michigan, it's legal. I was like, I literally didn't realize till 2 months ago that the people smoking vape pens were likely smoking pot.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know this. Yeah. This is witchcraft. I didn't know this. So I just thought everyone was like, I just thought everyone was like smoking like a digital version of hookah or whatever with so much smoke. I had no idea. So now I'm like, I see people driving their cars and I was like, oh, well, I didn't know. So I think, there's more like, I would say, I do feel like there's more marijuana users in jiu-jitsu than, maybe they're just more, they don't care. Like they're more vocal about it. Like, because I guarantee a lot of NFL players in them use it, but like, it's just, NFL doesn't want the rap of smoking marijuana.
Yeah, Megatron, one of the best receivers ever to come out of the NFL, who played for the Detroit Lions, a couple years after retired, which was just 2 weeks ago, came out and said he used to smoke for recovery after practices and after games.
Yeah. See, right after he was retired.
After he was retired, he came out and said that.
Yeah, I know people like Craig Jones and like the jiu-jitsu guys, like they're pro it, obviously Eddie Bravo, but they're very pro marijuana, but clearly they don't care what that looks like for the sport. You know, like to me, it looks like if you're going to take one of the top 5 and they use it that regularly, I don't know if you could paint. I don't know if you could paint like that. Like, you think half? To me, let me just preface this with I believe that half the population smokes pot. Like, I'm just confident that half the population's walking around high. Like, that's what it seems like, especially in Detroit. So that being said, to say that half the population of jiu-jitsu practitioners smoke pot, I don't know if that's the case.
Well, when you say Detroit, Metro Detroit area.
Wayne County.
Yeah, we're live all over the country right now.
Monroe County,
Detroit,
Wayne County.
Where are you from? Detroit suburbs. Yeah, you know what? There is like, these medical marijuana cards are so easy to get. So easy to get now.
Yeah.
You know, if your head hurts, your back hurts, you don't feel good today, you can go get a medical marijuana card.
Yeah.
It's so here's my opinion about I'm not even going to say medical marijuana because I believe that's fake. You want to talk about witchcraft? It's fake. Medical marijuana is a legal right to smoke weed. Do some people use it to feel better or because they have issues? Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of people. But I believe this whole medical marijuana thing is a way to legalize and tax a drug that wasn't being taxed, 20, 30 years ago.
I agree with that. Now let me just say, I've got 2 different stances. The medical, like, I don't know how many different ways there are to ingest and use cannabis. Like, I don't know how many there are. Like, I understand there's CBD, like oral oil, almost like oil of oregano.
Yeah.
There's which has no THC. The THC is that's the substance, that's the drug that
Yeah.
actually
And they do have
gets your brain high.
They do actually have rubs with THC in there.
Well, that's what. How does that affect your body?
Well, there's
Does that affect your brain?
Yeah, there's something that helps it soak in. I forget the name of it. It helps it absorb inside your skin, and I guess it does go inside your body.
Does it like change the way you think?
I don't know.
See, that's my thing, man. Like that's my big thing. One is I've got like an addictive personality, and it's been probably 15 years since I've touched marijuana. So I and there was only one way to use it. You smoked marijuana like back in the day, not unless you like had a whole lot of money and could make brownies back in the day. But like there was no way to use marijuana without getting high. There wasn't like that, to my knowledge, there wasn't a way to do that. If there's a way to use that now, like hypothetically, let's say you smoke a THC-less whatever vape pen, I don't know if that exists. I'm completely ignorant to it. I just know because with my mindset, like anything that alters your brain, like alters your decision making.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a way to do that. Like so the CBD oil, which I've tried, that's practically worthless. Like it does nothing. So if anyone saw, I've never heard a good like CBD oil, because I took it for inflammation and it did zero, absolutely zero.
Yeah.
But if there's
it does wonders for a lot of people.
Maybe I used the wrong stuff, because that's the thing too. Like, is there wrong stuff? I don't know. But if there's topical oil that I can put on my knees, like an icy hot, that won't get me high, then I'm cool with. Then that I would say is a medical form of marijuana.
Yeah.
I just don't. Does that exist?
I don't know.
We're clearly outside of our element.
I don't know if you catch a buzz with the topical, but look, here's my thing on the marijuana. In Jiu-Jitsu, and I got to get this out. You don't need to be going to class or around people and you freaking smell like a skunk.
Yeah.
That is annoying.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, so
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, for my friends and teammates who smoke weed, that's your business. Doesn't even bother me. I don't care. I don't look at anybody different. But if you went to the bar and you had like 6, 7, 8, drinks, and it's clearly not when I'm next to you, when you walk in the door, I could smell you.
Yeah.
Like that's unprofessional.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're in any kind of setting. The whole building doesn't need to smell it with alcohol or marijuana. So yeah, my thing is, you don't need to be smelling like cologne type marijuana.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and because that was the thing.
That bothers me.
One of my family, and how I found out that the vape pens were marijuana was one of my family. Like we were hanging out, and they were smoking a vape. I to my knowledge, I thought they were smoking pot right next to me.
Wow.
And I didn't.
Indoor or outdoor?
It happened. It's just they just always have it. So it's been both. It's been indoor and outdoor. But like. Wow. It tasted like friggin' cotton candy, or it smelled like cotton candy. I don't know. Like it just smelled like hookah smoke.
Did you hit it?
No, I don't really. I used to smoke cigarettes. I used to smoke that stuff. So like, I'm not against smoking. I'm against the way it makes me feel.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like, just like I'm not against sticking my head in a chimney per se. I just don't think it's the best thing for your health. So so like I tried when vapes first came out, a buddy of mine, he's like, try this. And so I tried it, man, like immediately. And he was drawing on this thing like heavy. Immediately, I couldn't breathe. I was coughing. And that was tobacco.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever that is will be illegal in 10 years. Like whatever's in that thing, like it felt like poison going in my body. Yeah. So like the vapes, they're just a little harsh, intense for me. But to answer your question, I didn't hit it. But that being said, I don't think if it was actual marijuana, like I don't think I could hit it more than once. I would get high immediately.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between, so like, the conversation between alcohol and marijuana. Alcohol is by far a heavier drug. Like there's cases like alcohol is like a class 4 substance, like right next to heroin. Like alcohol in terms of addictive nature and effect on your body and how it can affect your brain. Alcohol is way more powerful than marijuana. But you can have an alcoholic beverage and not have it alter your thinking.
As bad as like a hit of marijuana.
I don't know that you can't, like, if you can, someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know that you can smoke marijuana without getting high.
No, of course.
But you can have, depending on your tolerance, one to two drinks and not be drunk.
Yeah.
And so like that's kind of like my thing is like their marijuana, like what, and that's with whatever new. Remember back in they had like they were selling fake marijuana at the gas stations.
Yeah.
It's like 5-6 years ago. I'm sure they're all illegal now. But it was literally, you could sell like a chemically made synthetic marijuana that teenagers were buying.
Yeah.
And they were selling them over the counter and making huge profit on it. And then the state police came in and they're like, no, you can't. No, we're not playing this. They were getting sick.
One of those drugs was like making people hallucinate and do some crazy,
exactly,
crazy stuff. They're taking off their clothes in the street and just going crazy.
Yeah, you can buy, and you go to these head shops, you can buy. There's legal shrooms which will help you hallucinate for a half hour. My thing is like especially,
you know where shrooms come from?
The ground. No,
they actually, the shrooms that make people hallucinate. I used to live in New Mexico, and they're really popular out there.
Yeah.
And, a bunch of the guys were doing shrooms, and I was like, how do mushrooms get you high? Like they hallucinate. And they were into peyote. There's Indian reservations. So all the way out west, they're like big on the hallucination stuff. So
that makes sense.
So I learned that the shrooms actually grow out of cow manure.
That's the hallucinogenic property is
the mushroom, the cow takes a dump. And when moisture gets in it, mushrooms grow out of there. They pick them out of there, and that's what they're eating.
Yeah, man. See, like that. I'd rather pop a Look, I will pop several Motrin. I will pop several ibuprofen. Like, I don't need to eat some shroom that came out of cow manure to get high for a couple hours. To me, that's not. There are the endorphins. You've said this before. The endorphins released through jiu-jitsu. Like you'll get that same feeling. Yeah. Honestly, like after class, like your hands are vibrating a little bit. Your body, like you'll get that sort of same like buzz. Yeah. In jiu-jitsu when you train jiu-jitsu. That's my main thing with and then like you said the stench. Like you've got
stench is annoying.
I have no issue if someone wants and in fact there are people who smoke so much pot that they could just stay high and completely function. Yeah. They could stay high and who knows? They probably got way better jiu-jitsu than I do. When they train high. My thing is how how it makes especially our academy smell. I don't like smelling like a dope den.
Yeah, I mean that's my thing. I couldn't wait to talk about it. Get yourself some damn edibles.
Edibles, or apparently the vape pens are
get a
flavorless.
Vape pen. Get your edibles or brownies, or they even have drinks.
They have a marijuana drink.
They have a marijuana liquid. It's like an orange juice or fruit juice or whatever. You can get it in so many different ways. But when you walk in, everybody in the building could smell you. Yeah. That's disrespectful if you ask me.
Yeah. If I walk in, and to me, if I walk into a place and it reeks like that, it says something about the establishment. I know we've got several, like you mentioned, members, several coaches who use it recreationally. I don't really have an issue with that.
Neither do I.
I don't have it because it doesn't affect your job. They crush it at what they do, and they don't. I've a lot of these people. I didn't realize that they used it till later on. I was like, oh, I had no idea. So that's it. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
This brings up an interesting topic though. What? Coach Christian says it comes down to hygiene. Yeah, practical hygiene, like how you do anything else, right? You had mentioned that medical marijuana is just a way for the government to tax it. This isn't one of the questions. I would be entirely open if they legalized all narcotics. Be 100% okay with it. 100% okay with it.
Just so
I'll explain my reason in a second, but
Okay.
what are your thoughts?
Well, just so in case you're just tuning in, you're saying David is saying you're okay if they legalize all narcotics.
Legalize it all. Legalize crack,
please, go ahead.
legalize heroin, legalize crystal meth. Because right now, what's happening, the war on drugs is a failure. It's a failure. Like you ask anybody, it's a failure. And so,
All right, well, I'm going to ask you a hard question.
Sure.
Let's take heroin, for example.
Okay.
So tell me how that's going to help.
Well, let me ask, what is the police officer's job? The police officer's job is to protect the civilians from harm against other civilians.
Yeah.
Not to protect civilians from harming themselves. That's not their job. And there's this group of law officers. It's called like Law Officers Against Prohibition or something. And he's like, in all the years, we've had family members turn in their family for murder. We've had family members turn in their own family for theft. We've had family members turn in their family for murder. Like they will turn in their own family for those crimes where they harm other people.
Right.
They've never had a family member turn in another family member for possession. And so what you're doing I believe it's a misuse of police resources. Here's what happens. All of the drug war and the gang activity that's happening and the violence and all these other things, like I've often thought about this. Why would, like, let's say I wanted to go start using heroin tomorrow.
Yeah.
Where do I start? Google heroin near me. I don't know. So I got to go to a sketchy part of town, risk getting robbed and or shot, to use a drug that may or may not kill me, fill in the blank. That's a pretty sketchy thing. But if that's available in it's taxed, it's whatever, guess who goes out of business? All of the drug dealers and their gang activity. They just got put out of business by Big Brother. And more importantly, guess what the cops aren't doing? Their resources, which are already slim now, are not being wasted on putting, you know how many people are in, like, dude, I went to jail for like holding a dime bag. I was put in jail. This was years ago before it was illegal. So like, how many people are in jail right now for selling drugs, using drugs? That's the thing too, possession. So we're going to act like alcohol isn't a big drug. Alcohol is a very serious drug. How much medical bills are spent on alcohol injuries, alcoholic deaths, DUIs, what have you? So alcohol is a very serious drug. We're permitting that one though. That's an acceptable drug. Why is heroin not an acceptable drug?
Well, let me just say this.
And so frankly, if someone wants to use heroin and end their own, like an overdose on it, that's their own kind of their own choice. It's not really the police officer's job to protect someone from their own poor choices. Yes.
So it's very clear. David would like to legalize it. I would say hell no.
I believe.
Hell no.
I believe,
absolutely.
So why not? Why not?
Bro, these drugs they kill people. They they kill people slowly.
So does alcohol.
Yeah, it does.
So we should outlaw alcohol.
You can't compare alcohol and heroin in the same sentence.
I think they're really close, man.
No.
Okay. Alcohol, because you take what the commercialized version of alcohol, you've got liqueurs, which are really, you got beer, which is like 5%, and then you've got like Bacardi 151, which is like 75%, I think. Different tolerances. Mm-hmm. You could do the same thing with heroin. Like you could monitor it, but here's the problem: it's killing people. One, because it's addictive, and two, it's because you don't know what it was laced with or who it was with. But you've got people, and it's killing people. Here's the thing: if part of the lure that makes these narcotics attractive is the fact that they're illegal.
No. They make you feel good. Like cocaine, heroin, those drugs, they make you feel good. You know, I was in the first time I ever drove into Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. We were hanging out and meeting people, and we were finding out that people are partying using this drug that keeps you awake for like up to a week at a time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and towards the end of the week, they were hallucinating, and they looked just...
You'll hallucinate even if you do nothing and just stay awake.
Yeah, they looked crazy. But for something to keep you awake for 3, 4, 5 days straight, you know, the weather's nice over there. People are up and partying all night long. And it was methamphetamine. And I think somebody told me it was like jet fuel or rocket fuel they're ingesting. But, bro, these things are something so addictive. You can't legalize and expect people to yeah, I just don't see it. No way.
There was there's the video I was watching. Oh, we'll continue on to the next question. The video I was watching, though, the crime rates went down, the murder rates went down. You
might be talking about marijuana, but not cocaine or heroin.
Like Amsterdam. It was in like Amsterdam.
You can't go get cocaine in Amsterdam.
Yeah, Amsterdam's I'm pretty sure it's a free open. Like you can get
marijuana. I've been there.
I'm pretty like that's Amsterdam's main thing is it's all legal.
Yeah, but I don't.
We need a Joe Rogan guy, someone to like look up, like if these drugs are illegal, like legal in Amsterdam. There's one of those European countries, like everything's completely legal. You got it pulling it up?
Yeah.
Like what drugs are legal in Amsterdam? In Amsterdam. Oh, okay, Reddit. That'll get us some good. Are technically you will not be while recreational use, possession, and trade of non-medicinal drugs by the opium law are technically illegal under Dutch law. Official policy since the late 20th century has been openly tolerated. Okay, so maybe possession is legal. Possession is legal, but you can't sell it then. So you want to do drugs in the Netherlands. Yeah. So you can possess them, you just can't buy them. I'll have to pull up that clip. That's my thought on it though. Is because how many imagine if the law officers got to focus on the rapists and the murderers and the fill in the blanks as opposed to like chasing someone down, Jimmy the crackhead, so that they can put him in jail so he can get back out and go do crack again. Like there's a whole nother, and then you could have, then you put them to work doing something else.
Do your thing. Just don't come to class high. Don't go in public high. It shows. It smells.
So question number 2.
Yeah.
If you had to open a school in another state, where would it be? Seattle, I believe, has that policy too.
Open a school in another state?
Yep. It's my favorite podcast so far. I mean, I can answer. If I had to open a school in another state, mind you, all of my family's pretty much in Michigan, except for one of them are in Ohio. If I'm going to go through the trouble of move away from my family anyway, y'all are going to have to follow me to the Hawaiian Islands. Like, I'm going to open up the Kona. I'm going to go to the Big Island, and I'm going to open up there.
All right.
That's where I'm going to open. Texas. Yeah, Texas is one too.
My answer is I'm not going anywhere because I have to take my family and my kids and my metro family. I'm not leaving them.
If you, this is a hypothetical.
I can't even think about it.
Okay,
there's no plan. There's no plan B. Absolutely not. No.
Okay, Michigan outlaws Muslims. You're not allowed to stay here anymore. You have to move. Where are you going? Where are you going? Not Muslims and Christians. We're not let you guys we can't tolerate you anymore. Get out. Go somewhere else. Where are you going? So which means your whole family's coming with you.
Yeah.
Your entire family's coming with you.
And my jiu-jitsu family?
Sure. Yep.
Okay.
They all agree to go with you.
All right. Somewhere nice. Probably like Texas.
Texas is nice.
Yeah.
Texas is hot. From what I understand, it's very hot in the summer. Though.
Yeah, Texas. Somewhere where the average temperature is higher than here, like 65 degrees or higher.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, I don't want to move. I do miss. This is my favorite time of the year, but it's one of my favorite times of the year. I really like summer. This is nice because Michigan's one of the most beautiful. Honestly, one of the most beautiful states. We have garbage winters, so we kind of get jaded. But Michigan's one of the most beautiful states.
I'd have no problem moving somewhere where I can get me like a few acres of land, some chickens, a couple lamb, big property that I could take care of, live off the land a little bit, have some gardens growing. So anywhere I could do that, I would be happy. I'd give me a big barn with my little workout equipment.
Jiu-Jitsu mats, put jiu-jitsu mats down.
Yeah.
Nice little CrossFit area.
Yeah.
You could do that in Texas. Jiu-Jitsu, Texas is becoming kind of the mecca for jiu-jitsu though. It used to be California.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be very open that I'm happy it's moving away from California.
What?
I just don't like I don't like California. I just don't need to go. Texas though, obviously Coach Alvarez is in Texas, Coach Bruno, Professor Bruno, Sensei Bruno is in Texas with lead jiu-jitsu. So a lot of good names. That's a good city. Anywhere warmer though. That's my warmer, maybe on some water. You know what I like about the Hawaiian Islands? At least Kona. I've never been to Oahu. I understand Oahu can get pretty rowdy. But Kona, man, they're so laid back. Have you ever you've traveled probably way more than I have.
I've been to Fiji, that's past Hawaii.
Okay, well then there you go. So from what I understand, Detroit's pace is very fast compared to other states, other cities.
Yeah.
Is that
would be fair to say.
Yeah. I could probably get behind a slower pace. Like they got, Hawaiians, I feel like they got like, they'll wake up and they'll go like, they might train a little jiu-jitsu in the morning because they're active there. It's like, it's big in Hawaii. They might go like catch breakfast from the ocean, eat it, take a nap. Like they're just not in a hurry like the vibe I got was they're not in a hurry to do anything.
Yeah.
I get behind that. It's kind of mellow. I could get behind that.
It sounds like retirement.
Well, yeah, but they're happier. Like whenever my brother comes up to visit from Columbus, he's like, "Yo, everyone in Detroit's so angry, man. Like, why you guys don't smile?" And I noticed even when we were at Fort Worth, we went to Texas for the Jiu-Jitsu Worlds or whatever. Everyone they were generally happier. They smiled.
Southern people are genuinely more polite, happier.
Generally,
overall, I would say my experience for the last 30 years, they are happier, more pleasant, more polite people than we are up north.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So, okay, so we move so you're going to move, you have to move. You're taking your jiu-jitsu family, your blood family, and everyone with you to Texas. Somewhere warmer.
Yeah,
okay.
Texas or somewhere warmer.
Somewhere warmer.
Yeah, with a lot of land, get some animals.
That sounds like Texas.
Yeah, get a pet dog.
You get a lot of land in Texas.
Yeah.
All right, so next question is, you both...
College degree?
Yeah, well, this one. That one's... You both enjoy your work.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. What would you say to somebody who doesn't enjoy their job, or even worse, they hate it? How do you change that? And what if the money is too good?
I like that question.
I like.
All right, so let me tell you.
I love this topic. I could talk about this topic every podcast, every week for the rest of my life.
Yeah. What do you say to somebody how do you change it?
So I come to you, I was like, hey, Mo, you're so lucky you get to do jiu-jitsu every day for your job, and you get to help people live healthier, better lives through vitamins at your GNC store. You're lucky.
Yeah.
You just caught a lucky break or whatever. or I don't have the money to open up a business right now to do something like that, and I hate my job. And this is it, guys. The money's too good, because no one's going to stay at a job they hate that doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah.
A lot of times they've got golden handcuffs. They're making 70, 80, 120, 150,000 per year, and they hate it. And so they're being compensated for their time to go to a job. I think of Quicken a lot, which is now Rocket Mortgage. Like those mortgage brokers, man.
Talk about drugs.
Huge
I hear
payroll.
stories about those guys being on speed all the time because they like ride the hell out of you.
Yeah, huge payroll. Yeah, you get paid, man. I mean, you get paid, but what's the actual cost of that? So that's normally the thing. So they hate it. How do you change that situation?
Well, I've been in that situation.
Yeah.
And if you hate your job and you don't like going to work every day, imagine living the rest of your life in that nasty, ugly incompleteness of, imagine living your life and not accomplished anything. Like, that's an empty feeling, man. That's an empty freaking feeling.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Yeah. So I've worked for people when I was a teenager, but when I was 15 or 16, I decided, man, I'm doing my own thing. I can't work for people. I don't like people telling me what to do. Okay. So
that's usually how things start. You're like, yeah, I can't, I just can't handle that.
Yeah. Well, I'd say this. I'd say if you chase what you enjoy, and this sounds so silly, you're gonna make money. You're gonna do better. And it's not the money that you're really gonna be rewarded with. It's the you're gonna feel happier. You're gonna feel content. You're gonna feel like you're able to stand in your own shoes, in your own skin. There's authenticity when you go to work and you enjoy something that you do, and creativity comes out. It doesn't matter what the hell you're doing. And you have to chase what you enjoy. You have to chase your passion. If you don't, you want to talk about being miserable. I mean, you have to.
And that's, I think that's important. That's roughly my same answer too. I would add a couple caveats to it. So I enjoy jiu-jitsu, really, really enjoy jiu-jitsu, and don't get it twisted though. Right. So if someone's making 100,000 plus a year, working 40 or 50 hours a week,
yeah,
like that's gangster money for not many hours. I mean, 50 hours a week, I could have a whole nother like life with the extra time. Like 50 hours a week is really nothing.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot when it's something you hate doing. That's the thing. It feels like a lot when it's something you hate doing.
Yeah.
And so when you love jiu-jitsu, I love jiu-jitsu. But if someone else, like, if you're like, hey, I really enjoy baking, I enjoy baking, then I believe you can make money. Now, make 100,000, 150,000 baking. Yeah, I mean, that would look a little bit different. You're probably not going to do it baking cookies in your own kitchen. You're going to have to set up a different structure, do something online, what have you. But you've got to weigh the cost of, I feel like we've talked about this before. Like there's this, you have to weigh the cost of doing something you enjoy, that gives you pleasure, that gives you fulfillment, that feels like you're making a difference, that gives you.
Well, look, for those of the people who know us, you were in the gold and jewelry business years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay.
I hated it. So, I honestly, like, it's to the point to where, like, I can't even look at a jewelry store.
So look, I was making probably 5 times more money than I was making today years ago, but I'm 5 times happier taking a 5-time pay cut because, I want to go to work and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed what I did in the nutrition industry.
Yep.
I loved my job, but there came a point when I said, you know what? I want to do something a little different. I still have my nutrition business, but now I'm moved into Metro. But for those of you who asked that question, I took a pay cut to come to do this, but I'm so much more rewarded. And the extension, the rewards that I've been able to extend my wife, my children, and all of our members here.
So you took a pay cut to come and open a jiu-jitsu academy.
Correct. Because I want to wake up, if I'm sore, if I'm tired, if my body hurts, if I didn't get any sleep, I still want to wake up and say, I want to go to work.
Yeah.
It's been that way my entire life. And the second that I don't want to go to work, is as tired as I am, you get me up at sometimes like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, not recently, but we used to. Not recently.
I don't know. It's like you calculate, well, Mo's only allowed to sleep 3 hours this night, so let's plan it for this. Mo, I'm going to give Mo 5 hours of sleep tomorrow.
You're on that head a big time, man. Like you guys, I swear, I flew in for Nogi World's Jiu-Jitsu conference, and I got in at like 10 local time, like 10, and I'm like, I'm normally winding down, and so I get in, and you're like, sweet, hey, Fox, what's going on? Hey, so you hungry? I was like, it's 10 o'clock Central, which means it's 11 p.m. Eastern.
Arabs, we have to feed people, man. We have to eat. It's how we show our love. We got to feed you.
You guys stay up so late, so late. Like, I'm like, I mean, like, whatever. If you're scared, like, if I'm staying up till when you stay up, midnight, 1, 2, like, I'm not going to wake up till like 9 or 10. Like, I need that sort of sleep. But to go back to this question is I would say a few things. If you know you've got an out, right? Like there's a sign, actually, the Jimmy John's or whatever, but there's this, I'm going to give you the real quick version. Next time you're in Jimmy John's, there's this tale about the fisherman and the fleet. And so this businessman, he's on vacation in Mexico, and so he's just vacationing, and he sees this little fisherman come in with a load of fish, and it's like 10 a.m. in the morning. And he says, okay. He's like, hey, that's a pretty good haul. Are you going to go out and get more? He's like, no, I'm just going to cook this up. And, we're going to have, kind of cook it up for lunch. I'm going to play my guitar with the amigos, and then we're just going to call it a day, and finish that. He's like, well, you could go out and get 4 more loads if you finish fishing the rest of the day. And he's like, okay. And then what? He's like, well, then you would sell the extra, and then you get a whole fleet. And he said, oh, okay. And then what? He's like, and then once you get a fleet, then you could outsource that, and then you could actually end up selling the whole company to somebody. He said, and then what would I do with the profit from selling the whole fleet? He's like, well, then you could retire. He's like, and then what I would do? And he's like, well, then you could just, go to a nice place on the beach, catch a couple fish by 10 a.m. and just play the guitar with your amigos and enjoy the rest of the night.
That sounds cool.
It's exactly where he was in the first place. So he's saying like, he was saying the guy who wasn't grinding it out, he was just caught a couple fish, played his guitar with the amigos, called it a night. He's like, but if you build it up so you could sell it to retire to get back to the life you want, he's like, that's kind of the thing, right? Like, where that's the American dream, is hustle your prime years doing a job you hate so that you can spend your twilight years when you aren't in your peak health, 15 years maybe if you're lucky, to like hang out in Florida. Like that's the American dream. I'd much rather, I was talking to a member last night. I was talking to Jordan, and I was like, dude, like a couple of years ago when I quit my job, I worked the most I've ever worked. I also retired. Like, so I was like, I probably work more than just about anybody, In fact, I get a lot of flack for it. You're always on your phone. You're always working. And in my mind, I was like, I feel like I do whatever I want. Like I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. What I want to do, though, happens to be circulating around jiu-jitsu and my jiu-jitsu members and learning jiu-jitsu and teaching jiu-jitsu and competing jiu-jitsu. And like, that just happens to be things that I really enjoy. And then there's, of course, things that I do with like Amanda, spending time. There is family time in there. But like
Coach David, what's up? AK. We in?
Yeah, I think this is still going.
All right.
Yo, if you guys are watching this, let us know if you're still watching. See, it's going at 40 minutes.
All right, cool.
I made a rookie mistake. Let my computer die.
All right. This question here is a really good one. Where do you draw the line between having thick skin and checking someone who deserves it?
Yeah, I kind
So-
of have trouble with this one.
No, really, you're pretty good at checking people.
That's what I'm saying. Like I
okay.
kind of check. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of like I have trouble holding my tongue sometimes.
yeah. Well, you don't do it out of confrontation. You do it out of like, well, let's get clarity here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's how you are.
Well, yeah, depends on the situation, I suppose. All right, so we're good, Coach Jimmy. Everyone can hear us, see us. He's responding.
All right, cool.
So, yeah. So where do you draw? I feel like you're very, very good at this. You're way better at this than I am. I tend to be. Maybe it's your maturity level, maybe it's your age.
No,
maybe it's a little bit.
I
of
think
both.
we just have two different like approaches. So where do you draw the line between having thick skin and checking somebody who deserves it? So, like, why don't you give an example?
Okay, so someone who thick skin. So someone wants to say something, and if I want to, if you ever hear like me make a joke to Coach Mohammad, well, that's a little bit different because we're friends. I'm joking. But someone like if you're in a conversation and someone makes a little slight, like, oh yeah, let me guess it. I'll give you a perfect example. Like, oh yeah, we're making family trips, and I was like, well, I don't know, I don't really want to do that. Like, why do you care, Dave? You're going to be on your phone anyway. Okay. Now,
You're talking about a family member?
A family member. I was like, and so they're passively aggressively saying is you don't care anyway because you don't kind of want to be there. And so and now do I say and if I ever start getting extremely sarcastic with you, just for what it's the best idea to just back away a little bit because I'm not gonna let up until like one of us is gonna get angry and it's probably gonna be you. So like where do I just let that go? But hey man, they dissed you. Do I let that go or do I check somebody? Like, do I check someone, call them out and say, well, you got a problem? I'm standing right here. What's up? Like if you got something to say, let's say it, okay, like that's another way of asking this question. Where do you draw that line?
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody about this and like if somebody said that to me, that I would just, I don't consider myself a confrontational person.
No, I wouldn't. You're not.
Thank you. Thank you for all people out there.
No, you're not.
Thank you. So I would just probably say, I don't think me or you would want me to miss work, just, and neglect my work. And I know you appreciate how hard that I work. And I know you wouldn't want me to, run late on something on work, but even like strangers, you're more of that confrontational, and you would never know it. Like everybody.
Okay. Wait. Go on. Finish it.
Okay, maybe not confrontational, but like
strangers.
Yeah, like if somebody like pokes you, you're gonna poke them back and say, "Oh, what was that?" So you are. I wouldn't say confrontational, but it's like you can't take a shot at David without David taking.
Let me.
I think confrontation is a strong word.
The checking. So here's the checking, right? Like so if someone wants to say something or someone I'm gonna ask you. Like my first thing is my general response is I'm going to assume I misunderstood you. What'd you say? Like what do you mean by that? What did you say? What do you mean by that? Those are my first two questions.
Okay.
And now they have they can either repeat exactly what they said in the tone they said it, and then that happens there, or B, they can rephrase it more appropriately. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what I thought you meant.
Some people don't know how to properly phrase or express what they're asking. Like if somebody's asking, oh, you're going to be on your phone, they're just saying, I'd really like to spend time with you. That's what I hear.
That's what I hear. That's a direct form of saying that.
But some people don't know how to say, look, we have history together. We have memories together. I'd really like this. You know, it's been a long time. I feel like we're growing apart. Man, I just wish we could hang out like we used to. That, instead of saying that, they're saying, well, you're going to be on your phone anyway.
Yeah.
So they don't know how to communicate that.
Well, I mean, at a certain point, you're 27 years old. There's some social skills you should probably learn. Yeah. I have a jiu-jitsu program here that could help teach those. You know, start enrolling as young as 4.5. You know, but like that's that sarcasm going through. I think the checking, I don't know if you've ever seen me. I used to be like a huge hothead. So like I in terms of where I used to be, like my first 6 months of being with Amanda, this is the difference. If anyone wants to know the difference between like a blue belt and a black belt, my first 6 months of knowing Amanda, like this guy cut me off and I was out of the car, like chasing another guy down. And he was in his car, and I was a blue belt. So I thought I was like the bomb, you know, and now I'm like, man, like I can't think of a situation in which I'm getting out of my car, like unless it's on fire, you know, like I can't think of a situation. So checking someone, I think just means because I do believe there's times. You ever seen the movie Hidalgo, the horse movie with, is an old one, like a horse racing movie. They go race in the Arabic desert.
No,
it's a good one. Anyway, so he's a Western cowboy who engages in this Arabic horse race, and he's got a Mustang, and the Mustangs were the mutts, and they started making fun of his Mustang, and they're like, you can say whatever you want about me, just don't talk about my horse that way.
Yeah, that's
kind of my philosophy. Is like the second you start hurting my family, hurting my wife, talking about my wife, talking about, you know, even my partner and his, like I'm not like. That's where, like, you can say whatever you want about me because I know extremely well who I am. And if you think of me differently, then you're wrong. And that's usually the case. And so, but like you start talking about Amanda or Scarlett, or like, that's where I'm like, that's where I'm like, okay, now you need to back off. Now you're talking about my family. Now it's to the point to where like an apology is going to be sort of needed, like checking things like that. If someone wants to, we've even had this thing. If someone wants to impugn the reputation of our Metro Jiu-Jitsu's reputation is impeccable, if I do say so myself, because we've spent a lot of money and time and to make things right and to do right by our members and people who come in here. And so if someone wants to slander that or in print, you know, like write something and libel against that, I'm gonna kind of address that. You know, because I believe we're above reproach at that point.
Yeah.
You know, so that's.
I was talking to somebody yesterday and about the tournament we just came back from. By the way, congratulations.
Yeah, I was gonna bring out the trophies and everything, but I didn't want to take up like table space and everything.
Yeah, congratulations. So on first place kids at the New Breed tournament.
Yeah, the team did great.
Yep.
Yeah.
First place adults and first place overall. Yeah, big accomplishment. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So I was talking to somebody about the members and like just a relationship with coaches. And when the members are competing and they have emotional highs and they get in there and they compete and they win, man, like that energy is the same energy that a student has, coach is having right at the same moment.
Yeah.
Because we've been there before. We've won, we've lost. And the same energy when somebody loses, it sucks the wind out of us just like it does our members. And we can feel both of them. And so like that really builds a bond when we care now. We care about our members right now.
Yeah.
And we are like, we have that relationship. We understand where this relationship is going, how it's going to impact their life. Absolutely. Sometimes it takes a few years for somebody to realize, okay, my coach really does love me. He really wants the best for me. And he's only doing and saying this to make sure I put my best foot forward in my life. He doesn't care if I become a world champion. Right? He cares that I'm a world champion with my wife at my job. He wants to see me succeed. Yeah. And that's why we're so protective of our members and we care so much about them because it's really off the mat that we want to see them succeed.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where like the jiu-jitsu tournaments are great. Like, I think it's cool. It's really fun when you can go and you can win some matches, win some trophies. But like at the end, like we talk about this every time. Like, man, like if that's your value as a human is how you compete in jiu-jitsu, you're that's extremely nearsighted and immature. I'm gonna say it's immature. Like if you're just like if like we start having a conversation and then like you all know these guys like we start having a conversation and they're like, oh yeah, well I'm about something completely unrelated, and then they start throwing out their tournament accolades in like a conversation about college or a career or marijuana or like anything we've talked about like on this podcast so far today, and they're like, whatever, and they think they're too good for you because they've got some accomplishments in jiu-jitsu tournaments. Mm-hmm. When like there's like that's great, you may be a black belt in jiu-jitsu competition, but you're a white belt in a lot of other areas that matter a lot more. Case in point, social skills, networking, servicing your customer, your career, like service, bettering your employee, like all these other, being a good husband, like a father, like all these other things, they get neglected. And so I think like that jiu-jitsu is, we said this before, someone asked me what I do for a living. I was like, I just kind of help men and women and kids kind of change their lives. And we do that through the art of jiu-jitsu. Like that's how it goes. And so, I have no idea how we got there from how do you draw the line between having a thick skin and checking someone who deserves it.
We love you. Just keep training.
Okay.
We love you. Just get on the mat. Things will work themselves out.
Yeah.
Maybe they need to train.
I do have, and I don't mean to put you on the spot. Mm-hmm. When have I ever gotten lippy or checked a stranger? And if you can remember one, you have my full permission to tell me about this.
It's not that, like, again, you're not a confrontational person, but you'll like, I'll just say this. You don't use verbal judo. You have a conversation.
I do that.
Yeah. So yeah. I will use verbal judo if somebody is trying to check me.
Yeah.
And David will have a conversation and really want to talk about that.
I more wrestle.
Yeah, exactly.
He's more judo. I'm more of a verbal wrestler.
There you go.
Yeah, we just kind of
I'm a judo guy. You're a wrestler.
I just kind of explode through the conversation. Okay.
That's funny.
Right. We could agree with that. So we got some other questions. I don't know. I'm going to assume everyone's still with us. Coaches are talking truth. Thank you, Coach Christian. Says estimated time on having the new mats installed. Facebook user. So that's going to be, man, to my knowledge, I mean, how many square feet of mat space is that going to be now?
A lot more,
bro. That's going to be like altogether, like what, 5,000 square feet, something like that.
Yeah.
Bigger. I think like a tentative time frame, because that's phase B of what we're doing, phase 2 of what we're doing. So probably New Year's, realistically, like New Year's. We're going to be doing a lot of that work ourselves. You're going to see me back in my carpenter pants and my tool belt. So New Year's ish. I mean, the lead time on those mats is so far out though. But we're going to be getting some custom ones. It's going to be sweet. You got any questions on Professor's Choice Instagram?
Do we?
I don't know. Nope. Looks like people just waving at you. So Seattle has that policy. Comes down to hygiene.
Thanks for joining, guys. We'll see you next week.
Sweet. All right. So that's it, guys. We are going to go ahead and end this one. I think we got them all. Do flight.
Do what? What was the question?
To be fair, man. Okay, yeah, man. I did get lippy with a flight attendant.
Oh yeah.
I've had more than my. Yeah.
See, that's
flying is so stressful, bro. Especially nowadays. But like back earlier, I did get lippy with a flight attendant.
You're a wrestler.
Yeah. Well, that was. I pretty much had an entire plane angry at me, or at least a good portion of the plane. We will go flight attendants. That's really funny. I don't think Coach Mohammad was there for that one though. That was a personal vacation. So only Amanda got to witness that side of me. But all right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and end this. Thank you guys so much for following. Do me a favor, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and follow us. Like, subscribe to our YouTube. If you share this, obviously this stuff is, the more you can share this, take clips, put comments. If you ask questions even after this is posted, we'll answer those as well. And then we're gonna be here next time, Tuesday, for another episode of our podcast. As always, we'll see you guys
on the mats.
On the mats.